Hey friends, and welcome to the Happy Hour. My name is Jamie Ivey, and I am your host every week right here on the Happy Hour podcast. This week, my guest is my friend Tara Livesay, and Tara and I have known each other since about 2007. Tara and her family live in Haiti, and when we interviewed those, she was in Texas with one of her daughters that just had her first baby. So she's now a grandmother and mother to 7. We talk about what it's like to raise kids at different stages. We talk about raising kids as they're getting to be adults. I don't have any experience in that, but we talk about that a little bit. We talk about what it's like to live in Haiti. We talk about short-term mission trips. We talk about her becoming a midwife this year, which is so exciting, and I love that for her. It's a great conversation. I love Tara so much. She's a joy to be a friend of mine, and I love visiting her in Haiti. I love her wisdom. I love so much about her, and you're going to enjoy her so much as well. Before we get going, I want to say thank you to a couple of people. First, I want to say thank you to Clapping Dog Media from Twitter. They tweeted recently, "What is your favorite new thing this week?" Mine, the Happy Hour podcast with Jamie Ivey. Listen, laugh, repeat. Thank you so much. I love that so much. Another listener on Twitter named Emily Gardner said, "Listen to Annie Downs on the Happy Hour podcast. Might be my favorite yet as I continue to binge my way through the archives." Annie was a great guest if you haven't listened to hers as well. Thanks for listening to those. Guys, I love it when you leave comments. Find me on Twitter. It's at Jamie_Ivey. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, all that fun stuff. Anyhow, I hope you have a great day, and I hope that you enjoy our conversation with Tara and I hope that you just feel as though we're all sitting around a coffee table drinking coffee chatting. So here's my friend Tara. Hey Tara, welcome to the Happy Hour.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here with you.
This is so fun because you're actually in Waco right now, and you obviously normally live in Haiti.
Yes, I'm in Texas. I've been here for about 4 weeks, and that's not super usual for me to leave the kids that long, but I had a grandbaby, so I'm here for the grandbaby.
You had a grandbaby, and you leave the other kids for a grandbaby any day.
Yeah, it seemed like the right thing to do.
I think so, although they're probably mad in Haiti because they're not here with the grandbaby.
They are. They cannot understand why everyone couldn't get on a plane and come be present for the birth of the child, but
money's no issue when you're 7.
Exactly.
You have no concept. I don't get it. Okay, Tara, I was thinking this morning when I was thinking about talking to you this morning that we met a while ago. I mean,
a long time ago.
We met, it was May of 2008, right? May of 2008.
I think we started writing like a whole year before that.
That's probably true.
But
yeah.
Yep, May of 2008 is when you led that team to the mission that we used to work at.
Yes. And I celebrated my 30th birthday there.
Yeah,
in
I
Haiti
remember.
With you, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was also thinking this morning, at that point, all your kids lived in Haiti. And you had, did you have 2 kids under 1? Phoebe and Lydia?
We actually technically had 3 because we were.
Oh, that's right.
We were fostering my niece, yeah. So there were 3 under 1. It wasn't. No, that's not true. Phoebe's 11 months older, so she was 1. There were 3 under 2.
Okay.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It's so crazy. And then so you lived out in basically it seemed like the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's 40 miles outside of Port-au-Prince, but you may as well be 500 miles outside of.
For sure, right.
Yeah, super rural feeling and people on donkeys and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was actually my that was my 3rd time ever to Haiti, but it was my 2nd time to be with my kids, Amos and Story. And so y'all were gracious. Aaron and I led a team out there with you guys, and you let us just bring our kids along for the ride. So I remember that. That was actually Aaron's first time to meet the kids too.
Okay. I didn't remember that part. And actually, I thought the first time we met, you were maybe only adopting Amos and you hadn't decided to adopt 2 kids yet. Is that true or no? Am I remembering wrong?
Not the first time we met live in person.
Okay.
My first trip to Haiti was in 2006 with a totally different group. And then I came down in January of 2008 to meet the kids for the first time.
Okay.
And then to your house in May of 2008.
Got it.
I know. It's crazy. And then I went, we would, every time we'd come down and visit the kids, we would oftentimes stay with you guys or come see you. And then I didn't go back for 2 years after the earthquake.
I know. I was so glad when you came back last May.
It was a really good trip for me because here's why. So after Amos came home in January of 2010 after the earthquake in Haiti. And so then all up until that, for the 2.5 years before that, Haiti had been just this really hard place for me because every time I would go, I was leaving my kids. And so it just, I guess, like, I'm not a psychologist, but I would think over time I developed some kind of like, I hate the country of Haiti mentality, which Haiti had done nothing to me except for I just could never bring my kids home. So it was really hard for me. So after they finally came home, I was like, I'm never going back again. I have zero good memories there. Every time I go, I'm leaving a kid. And so then when Paige graduated, you guys invited us to come down, and I had to go to counseling before I could come down. I mean, it was so good for me, though, because I went and it was like a joyous occasion. It was wonderful. It was fun. And so it was almost like this redeeming trip for me.
Yeah, I mean, with all those negative memories and all the pain that surrounded the adoption process, it totally makes sense that it would be hard to come back and try again afterward.
Yeah, but I had a great trip, and so I'm down for coming again.
Okay.
No hard feelings about the country of Haiti anymore.
Yeah, I would love for you to come again and work with us. That'd be awesome.
Well, every time I would go visit Haiti, I would go out to, our kids stayed at a place called Real Hope for Haiti, and Tara knows them, and they have a clinic there, and every single time, I mean, out of the handful of times I was there, I kept wanting a baby to be born. Never one time did I see a baby born. And now you're a midwife and work in a maternity center, and so I'm only coming to visit if you can guarantee that I'm going to be in the room when a baby is born.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know what? It's so interesting because I feel like if somebody really, really, really wants to see a birth, we're pretty much guaranteed not to have one.
Because they want it so bad, it's not going to happen.
The births happen when they want to happen.
So crazy. Okay, so speaking of midwifery, which that's the correct term, right? Midwifery, sorry.
Midwifery, yeah.
Midwifery. You just recently became a midwife, like this fall, right?
I've been working at it since 2010, and I officially passed all my tests and all the steps in the process to become certified on August 5th. Yeah.
And that's no joke to get certified. It's not just, I mean, it took you a long time, a lot of studying. It's a big deal.
Yeah,
Correct?
there's a little more to it. Like, I think there's some who think, well, you put on Birkenstocks and you watch a few births on YouTube and can call yourself a midwife. But there's a little more to it than that.
I think there's a lot more to it.
Yeah, it was, I actually, for pretty much the entire time, didn't think I could do it. So it was good for me to just keep putting one foot in front of the other and finish, because I didn't have tons of confidence in my ability to memorize so much medical terminology and go sit for a test. I'm not the greatest student. I'm pretty much a C student. So, I mean, I have been my whole life. And obviously, I finished college long ago. So going back and trying to learn something was scary.
That would be so hard for me as well. But, see, my question for you, when I met you in, how long ago that was, 6-7 years ago, this wasn't even on your radar, was it?
No, I mean, I moved to Haiti thinking we would be in Haiti for 18 months and also just planning to do administrative stuff, which I am gifted administratively, and that's the only gift I was really aware of. And I didn't even know that I had any bent toward medical work. It was just because of living in Haiti that I learned that, because when you live in a village and there's no medical care anywhere, you end up being the person who does wound care in your area, and you kind of learn as you go. And as more and more crazy things came to our doorstep, I was just like, I'm not really grossed out by any of this blood and gore. None of it seems to faze me. So then when we moved to Port-au-Prince and started working with Heartline, I started as an administrative person for the maternity center and just kind of stayed in the corner at births and didn't really look at the area where the action was.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely I was like, okay, this doesn't even gross me out. I can do this. And it was after the earthquake that I decided, all right, I'm going to just start training, and if I don't finish, I don't finish, but I'll just see what happens. So it took 3.5, 4 years.
Yeah, but I mean, you did it. And so now you work with Heartline, and you're one of the midwives there, right?
Yep, there's 3 midwives and 2 nurses, and I'm one of the 3.
That's so awesome. Are there 3 full-time there, or is that a rotating thing?
No, we now have 3 full-time. It's been hard to get to that point because it's not that easy to find people who want to live in Haiti full-time. But we have 3. Both of the midwives I work with are named Beth, so that's fun.
The Beths and Tara.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So how many births have you done now since you've been official?
Oh,
I mean, too many to count, or?
Oh, no, because we have the whole thing with our program is we're trying very hard to build relationships and actually know the women. And we're not just having strangers walk off the street and deliver their babies.
Mm-hmm.
We've been with these ladies for months by the time they deliver. So in order to be able to build relationship and actually know the women we're delivering, we don't do tons. We probably average about 6 to 8 births a month.
Gotcha.
I finished in August, and I don't deliver every baby. We take turns. So we're all at all the births, but we take turns as the primary that gets to deliver. And so a handful. I did get to deliver my grandson.
That's so fun.
In October.
Which I want to talk about that in a minute. But first, I have one more question about Heartline. And I should know this, but I actually don't even know this. After the earthquake, is that when Heartline turned more into maternity stuff, or was that always going on?
Well, so John and Beth McCool, who started Heartline over 25 years ago, they had been doing adoptions, and it was a very small children's home solely for the purpose of adoption. They'd been doing that for 17 years when in 2007, Beth decided she wanted to do something to keep families together. Like, she just saw the pattern of, okay, these are poverty orphans, and there has to be a way to do something different that addresses the problem at the root. So she went to midwifery school. She finished about a year and a half ahead of me. But the prenatal program was actually started in 2007. So we were about 2 years and 3 months in when the earthquake hit. And what the earthquake did was just forced us out of adoptions because all those kids went to the United States to their families on humanitarian parole. They were allowed special entrance into the United States to finish their adoptions while living with their adoptive families. And once all those kids went home, it was just a perfect chance to kind of start really focusing on maternity care. And so our program grew a ton and changed a ton. Honestly, got a lot better once we had the bandwidth to focus all on maternity care and kind of be done with adoption stuff.
Which I love that, because it is, you said it like looks at the root of the problem, and what you're doing is you're giving these moms knowledge and education and the ability to parent their child. Whereas otherwise, if they wouldn't have had that, it could have led to adoption, but you're stepping in, and so they get to stay with their families.
Yeah, it's amazing how really, I mean, even moms who come in saying, I don't think I can do this, I'm going to put the baby at an orphanage. It doesn't really take, I know people have a hard time believing this, but it's like just a little bit of encouragement and telling somebody that they can do it and just coming alongside them during those first 6 months. It makes a huge difference, and women begin to see the whole thing differently and their ability differently. And poverty doesn't mean you can't be a mom. So it's very cool to get to see it with your own eyes. So
cool. Okay. So speaking of delivering babies, I actually just saw you last night and got to see some pictures of your grandson. So now your oldest child is how old?
My oldest is 24, almost 25.
Okay. And your youngest?
Is 7.
And there's 7 children in there. And now you have a grandson.
Yes.
Who's like 3 weeks old?
Yeah. We, obviously, it's our second daughter had her son October 11th. And we moved her to Waco last year to start college. And so the baby was a huge surprise, but we've all been just rolling with it and so excited about him. And that daughter will be getting married in January. And we're glad he's here. He's a perfect little guy. And definitely the year has been challenging. And we for sure had some low spots where we were processing everything and communicating our hopes and dreams and even our disappointments. And it's just been very cool to see the way God has just come alongside of us and given us joy in places where we couldn't have imagined there would be joy.
I love that. I've got to walk, from afar and watch you guys go through this year. And just looking back, I literally just got chills just now, because I've seen the valleys and the highs and all that kind of stuff. And it is such a wonderful picture of just God's redemptive story at the end here. And looking back, 10 months ago, this would have seemed crazy that you'd be here, but now it's fabulous.
Yeah. I mean, because you were on the receiving end of some of my wailing, I can't believe this. We're never going to be able to do this. And her life is over.
Right.
So funny how time and
It's so true.
Perspective. And yeah, I mean, I was pretty dramatic at the beginning. I was, and I had children when I was young. It's not like I have proof that it's not impossible.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah. You know, you want your kids' lives to be the easiest path possible. So when they take a path that's more difficult, some of us freak out a little bit.
And I mean, also you couldn't just run over to someone's house, you know, in the day. You lived in another country when this was happening, you know, so that was hard as well.
Yeah. I was thankful for you guys.
Oh, it's so, I love the journey. I mean, the journey is hard, but the end looks really, right now it looks amazing. You know, it's so fun.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a question for you. Just the other day, I talked to a mutual friend of ours, Jamie Wright, and we were talking about parenting kids. And she has, her youngest is 14 and her oldest is like, I don't know, 22, something like that. So she's a couple steps ahead of me, and she has all boys. And so I was asking her, you know, what's the hardest stage? What do I have to look for? She said middle school is just so hard. And then we were talking about how in this world of blogging and internet, there are so many mom blogs, but there aren't hardly any, there's hardly anyone talking about raising like a 15-year-old or an 18-year-old or a 22-year-old. And I've heard several of you friends that have older kids say that that's sometimes even harder than younger ones. Do you feel like you're kind of in the middle of that right now?
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the most surprising things of the last 4 or 5 years for me is just, I think you're in the thick of diapers and sleep deprivation and tantrums and just kids that you can't even reason with.
Right. They have no reasoning skills.
Yeah. You think, well, this is certainly the hardest thing I've ever done in my whole life, and I'll probably never live through it. But then I think there's like, to me, 7 to, okay, maybe not 7, 5, 6 to 10 years old. Mm-hmm. That's kind of an easier stage. And then they start having hormones, and then they start having their own ideas, and they don't want to do what you say. And I feel like, I don't know. I mean, I don't need agreement, but I honestly think parenting young adults is the hardest thing I've ever done.
That's what I hear. And that I just feel like some of us moms like me that's listening, that I agree with you though. I feel like right now my youngest is almost 7 and my oldest is almost 11. I feel like we're in this spot where it's just like, we have our things for sure. You know, story screamed for like 20 minutes yesterday. We have our issues, but I'm not as exhausted physically with these children. We can like actually have conversations. Caden kind of makes me laugh sometimes. I can sit down and have a conversation with him, and he's starting to reason a little more. So I see what you're saying about the sweet spot right now. But now I look ahead of me, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so much harder.
I know.
They're going to do stupid stuff.
Yeah, and I think like we really get used to having kids that, I mean, most of us, I know not everyone has the most compliant children, and definitely there's stronger kids in the bunch when you have a handful of kids, but you get used to saying something and the children listen, and you start to think, well, this is how it's always going to be. They're going to take my advice and do what I say.
For the most part, they're like, they trust you. Like, okay, mom says it must be right.
Yeah. And then you find out, oh, that's not really how it's going to go.
But if we all look back, we did the same thing. Oh my gosh. I know I was a hard young adult to parent for sure. Oh my gosh. I was so difficult.
Rebellious? You were rebellious?
I was like this, silent rebellion. Like I went to church. On the outside, it looked all good, but I was doing some pretty awful things. And then, just went to college, and my parents sent me off to a Christian university, and I just found the same people I had been running with in high school and just the same stuff. And so I'm sure but I was like, I would tell my mom things I would do. Like, because I thought, well, I live in college. What's she going to do to me? Ground me, you know? So I think that must have been hard on her to like listen to me talking about all the like going out and partying. I don't know why I told her what was wrong with me, but I imagine that had to have been hard to parent me.
Yeah, I just think, like, really, sometimes I wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning worried about a kid she's grown and gone. Like, I don't need to worry about her. But you wake up thinking, oh, I wonder if she's going to be okay. I wonder if this, I wonder if that. I mean, we're moms forever.
That's right. And I'm sure the worries change. I mean, for sure. I worry that someone's going to be mean to my kids at school. And in a couple of years, I'm going to be worried that they're like, I don't know, out drinking with their friends or something. I mean, I guess it just all changes. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I think, the mistakes that you make when you're 18 and 22, those can be life-changing mistakes. It's not like...
Yeah. And so we know that as moms.
Yeah.
Either because we made some of them and so we know what happens, or because we can see, the road.
Yeah. And I think I definitely drove when I shouldn't have drove as a young adult. Mm-hmm. And that kind of stuff scares me. Not that, I have no proof that my children are driving while intoxicated, but I just know it only takes one, poor decision, one moment of thinking, I'm okay.
Uh-huh.
And, yeah.
I hear
scary.
you. So you right now are parenting, how old is Lydia?
Lydia she just turned 7.
So 7's your youngest. So you're basically in every stage right now besides like preschool, toddler, baby, which I'm not a preschool, toddler, baby at all. So once they hit 7, I feel like we're in the groove. This is my question for you, Tara. You've been through a lot of stages. Do you feel like you're a better parent to Lydia and Phoebe?
My big girls, my 2 oldest girls would say that I'm more mellow, more forgiving, more easygoing parent.
Okay.
And then other people might watch that and say too permissive, I don't know. I think the more you do it, the more you realize so much of what you force when they're littler is just inconsequential. I don't have to, with my first kids, if I said clean your plate, I would stick to it. They would have to sit there till they clean their plate.
Right.
I don't need to win anymore. Like I just have learned winning arguments it isn't worth it. Sometimes it's just easier to let the kid win.
Yeah.
I don't think everyone would agree with that. There's parents who are absolutely not going to bend on that stuff, but I don't think I take a lot of the stuff as seriously as I did when I was a first time, second time.
And there's probably some things that like you look back and you're like, you probably do still take some things seriously, obviously, but the things that you're just like, not a big deal. If I could go back when I first adopted and Amos first came home, this is like one of my biggest regrets, and I'm embarrassed to tell this story, but it's kind of funny, but it just shows how like unknowledgeable I was about my child who had lived through trauma and just parenting. So he comes home from Haiti, traumatized. You were in the earthquake. He was in the earthquake. It was crazy. And then he just shows up home and, oh my gosh, I get so embarrassed when I tell this. But one time at dinner, we were eating and my sweet little, like newly home child, 4.5 years old. He'd probably been home about, 4 or 5 months, half a year maybe. Tara, I made that child eat salad until he could not get up until he ate a salad. This is like the worst. I look back on that and I'm like, Jamie, that was the meanest thing you've ever done to a child who probably never had salad in his entire life. And then he shows up traumatized and you won't let him leave the table to eat salad. It's funny now. I'm embarrassed about it. Actually, I'm just like, oh my gosh. But all that to say, if we were to bring home more kids into our family, which we're not, I would never make them eat salad. I've only been home for 6 months. So I see what you're saying. You learn and you're just like, that was dumb. That was not a battle that needed to be won.
Well, yeah. I think you're just able to see what was more about you and you exerting your will and your power and what's actually necessary.
I know. I was like, dang it, this child, you are in the Ivey family now and we eat salad. So step up to the plate. Oh my gosh, the worst. Oh, so bad.
You know what? You have to give your kids reasons for counseling when they're older. We have to keep the therapist in business.
Okay, that's good. I know. I always say, like, whenever I do something crazy or stupid, I'm like, well, that's going to be in their memoir when they write about me when they're older about, all this crazy stuff. Speaking of crazy stuff, okay, so Caden goes into 6th grade next year.
Oh my God.
And I know it's crazy. And so at our church, like, that's like you're getting into students, like you're in the students' little area. And they have these like little small groups that they meet in, and they have these people that love them and encourage them. And I looked at Aaron the other day and I said, oh my gosh, Caden's going to go into one of these groups and he's going to tell his leader, like, if I'm mean to him, or he's going to tell his leader if I'm a bad mom one day. And my approval just was like raging. It was like, I could not even comprehend how, like, what are these people going to think about me? Oh my gosh. And Aaron's like, yeah, it's going to happen. Just get over it. And I'm like, Oh my gosh, I'm just like, but my kids are becoming people. They're getting big.
Yeah, and then they tell the truth about things, which honestly, that's probably good, right? We want our kids to tell the truth.
For sure.
Even if it's ugly.
Even if it's ugly. Because, I always say, I tell the truth about myself. I just did. Even when it's ugly, it's just what it is, Oh, I'm not ready for 6th grade.
No, it's so frightening also. I mean, I don't have this in Haiti because we kind of have our little bubble that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
And my kids aren't, Caden going and being with mean junior high kids, doesn't that just scare you?
Yes, I want to cry and protect him.
Yeah.
And move him to Haiti to go to school with your kids.
I know, where everything's happy at the little...
Yes, at the little co-op thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I don't want it at all. What grade is Isaac in?
He's a 7th grader.
Oh my gosh. And is that your oldest at home right now, or is Hopi older?
Isaac is the oldest at home.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's an interesting kid. He emotionally is younger than 7th grade, mm-hmm. and he is as happy and as joy-filled as a person can be. And there's no cloudy days in his life. And so I don't like having him go to junior high, like what Caden's going to do. I think he would get eaten alive because he doesn't believe anything is bad. He believes, even living in one of the poorest countries in the world, he sees everything with rose-colored glasses, and I would hate to see what junior high kids would do to his perspective on life.
He is the happiest kid.
Yeah.
He's so joyful. That's who I want around me when I'm having a bad day. Isaac Livesay. You need to start recording little tidbits of Isaac and just send them to us. So when we're having bad days, we can hear Isaac's voice telling us, it's okay, Jamie.
Jamie, every single day. So Troy is we have a little bit unusual parenting stuff. Troy does sort of more of the mom stuff, and I do. It's weird. We know it's weird, but it works.
Whatever works is what I say.
I'm the wrestler. I'm the tickler.
Uh-huh.
Troy keeps track of when they're supposed to have homework done and gets to school. And I'm
It is kind of opposite. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But every day I don't help as much as I should probably because I'm a bad morning person. But they're getting ready, packing their lunches, getting ready to go with Troy about 3 miles to where their school is. And when they get in the truck and I'm kissing everybody goodbye, Isaac every single day says, "May God be with you in your day, Mom." Every day.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, thank you, son.
That, if I could have that on a recording while I drink my coffee in the morning, may God be with you, Jamie. I need that, Tara. I'm going to need this. I'm going to need you to record this and send this to me. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah, it helps.
What a sweetheart.
And nobody taught him that. None of us are like that. That's in him. I don't say that to Troy. I'm just go, please, God.
Leave. I have stuff to do. Go. Oh my gosh. That's so crazy. Okay. So, in Haiti, your kids go to a co-op, right? I just mentioned that, but it's you have a family that teaches them. Are y'all in this with the Salvants, or is it just y'all?
We are close with the Salvant family, and we do a lot of stuff with them, and our kids will do kind of big homeschooling get-togethers with lots of families, including theirs. Okay. But for the regular school week, these awesome people named Jimmy and Becky Burton from College Station, Texas are our teachers, and they have been teaching our kids. This is their 4th school year, and they've committed to 5 school years. So we know that we have them again next fall. But they teach Monday through Friday, and on Mondays, another family also from Texas joins us, the Meadows family. So on Mondays, there's a bunch of kids, and they give speeches and do stuff as a group. And then Tuesday through Friday, it's basically homeschool. It's just the best situation because it is
the best situation
without your crazy mom teaching you.
For real. That would be awesome. Because y'all have had struggles with school. It's not the easiest thing. So here's the deal. A lot of people who would pack up their family and go to another country if they were going to homeschool, you would be at home with the kids, schooling them while Troy would be working. But y'all both work. And so it's the best situation ever.
It is the best situation ever. And I think lots of people are like, oh, woman, that is not fair. Because my kids are getting a great education from licensed teachers. These guys taught in schools before they moved to Haiti.
It's not just me showing up, hack job, trying to teach geometry and stuff.
And they don't have to, Troy and I, and people, I know that homeschooling moms hate when non-homeschooling moms say, I could never do it, because they feel that way too, right?
Yeah, I get it.
Feel like they can do it. So I don't want to, they're amazing. That's an amazing thing to teach your kids and to try to remain patient for so much of a day and never get a break from
Right.
the insanity. So, I know it's cliche to say I could never do it, but like when I teach math, I instantly, my voice changes and it's like, no, do it again. Like, I sound, even though I'm trying to remain calm, I sound witchy and my kids start to shut down. So I'm just so thankful that they have these patient teachers, and it allows me to work at the maternity center and Troy to work. And yeah, we're super blessed. And that wasn't always that way. Like, we did homeschool for a few years when we first got to Haiti. That was quite a nightmare.
I remember, yes.
And then Isaac still doesn't really know how to tell time on a real clock. That was
Hey, who uses clocks to tell time with anymore? You got phones and stuff like that.
I know. There's big gaps in their education where I was in charge. Then they also went to a English-speaking Christian school, but that was like insane amount of traffic to get there, and we would spend 4 hours of our day sitting in traffic, and it was just
dumb.
It was dumb. We're not going to have people donating their hard-earned money to help us live and serve here to just sit still in traffic.
Right.
So we have the best situation now. It took a lot of years to get there.
Yeah, and now I'm starting to get stressed of what are you going to do after year 5?
Hopefully we hire the next amazing people.
The next amazing people. I like that. If there's any amazing people out there that want to teach in Haiti.
Yep.
That's awesome. So I get a lot of people that ask me these questions, and I'm sure that you do as well. After the earthquake in 2010, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I just want to go to Haiti and I want to serve and I want to do this, I want to do that. What, in your experience as living there for a long time and working there and knowing the people and the language and the culture and all that kind of stuff that you've learned over the years, what would you say to someone if they're like, hey, what is like the best thing that I could do for the Haitian people, for people in Haiti? If people are like somehow feel like this, like, connection to it for a number of reasons, what would be the best thing that someone could do?
Well, I mean, first of all, this is just my opinion, and I'm just one person, so I don't ever want anyone to think like, well, that's the only way to do it. But just my thought is, if you have a heart for a place and you care to help, you probably, first thing you need to do before you ever help anyone is learn about what is needed. Mm-hmm. And I think we as Americans, and or Westerners, whichever it is, like we're so used to we're task-oriented mm-hmm. and goal-oriented, and we think, well, I look at this problem, I decide what needs to be done, and I do it. Right. And that's not really super helpful in reality, because Haiti is, and Africa and most warm climate cultures around the world are very relationship-based, and going in and just doing something is kind of offensive. Like mm-hmm. they would prefer to know you and talk to you and mm-hmm. tell you what's needed rather than you deciding what's needed. And I think that's the biggest pitfall with short-term missions. And not all do this, but a lot of it is, okay, we're going to rally our people here in Austin, Texas, and we're going to get them to go build 3 houses. But we didn't ask anybody about the land we're building on, and we didn't clear what types of construction they prefer, and we're just going to go do it. Well, when you get back home to Austin, to tell your story to your church, down in Haiti, they're tearing the roof off and redoing it because mm-hmm. you did it a way that they didn't like, And so,
or that doesn't work in Haiti.
Right. So much of it is honestly just being willing to be a learner. Like, mm-hmm. would you let some stranger walk into your house and just start taking care of your kids?
Right.
And we kind of do that. We kind of go into their house and take over and do stuff and then act like they should be thankful and pat ourselves on the back, when really, if we spent a year or two getting to know people, returning to the same place, mm-hmm. learning what was needed, the work would be more effective.
Yeah. I think that's one of my favorite things that I learned from you guys. Just in our adoption process, we would a couple of times we tacked on visiting our kids with leading a team down there, and so for us it just made sense because we were already going to visit our kids. And that, what you just said, was one of the main things I think I learned from you guys of just doing that. Is when we would lead teams, like our main goal in there was just to expose people to tons of different ministries that were working in Haiti. Yeah. And our goal was never to go build a house. It was never to go paint. It was never to do any of those things that in Americanized sounds, well, that's what's needed, so let's go do it. But for us, we just wanted to expose people to different organizations. And then our prayer and hope was that people would come home and then support them. financially or, with gifts or going down again or whatever. And so, I love that. I remember out of that trip that we took a team down in May of 2008, like 4 couples from them then started adopting. So that was crazy. And I think all of our kids came home after the earthquake on the humanitarian parole. But I know it's hard. It's hard too. And I'm glad that you spoke to that, because we just think, well, if we can just do this, it'll help. It helps. It would help me if someone painted my house, so it'll help them,
Yeah. Yeah. And then, there's all the complexities of, well, why did you spend $700 on a ticket to come paint when there's this guy sitting here with no job that would love to feed his family with his own hard-earned money? We could pay him to paint, and it would cost a lot less than the ticket and, all the rigmarole you went to get here. But people people do get defensive and offended because most of us have gone and painted walls in third world countries. Mm-hmm. So then we think, well, I didn't, I have a heart for those people. I love them. Right. And I'm in that crowd too. I went on a short-term mission trip to Mexico when I was a teenager, and we built a house. Yeah. I'm not an expert on Mexico, so I have no idea if what we did was helpful or not, but, the most helpful things are things that include relationship, and that's true all over the world. Yeah. And for us too, we want, as difficult as it is, we want our kids to see the world. And so there's also this weird middle ground of, do I want to just bring my kids to Haiti and show them, the slum and how awful, or do I want to bring them there to engage community and meet people and see the world? It's hard. It's you have to just kind of soul search in your own heart before you take that step. Yeah. Yeah. And it's for those of us on the ground and trying to know Haiti. I think it's weird because people will come back after a few trips and I think they've got it. But I can truly tell you, I understand so little at year 9, because culture is complicated and things aren't as they appear. And we don't get to just decide how something is because we spent a few years. If it's not your heart language and it's a second language, it takes a long time to really grasp everything that's happening around you. And so for us, the people that return, that come once a year, those are relationships that become super special. I think for everybody living abroad, it's hard to have what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know what word I'm looking for, but it's like a mill of people coming through. Jamie, yes. Just people constantly coming through. Belt. Yeah. A conveyor belt of people that you see once, you never see them again. Yeah. It's just you answer the same 10 questions and then you never see them again. And they don't stay in touch, and they don't, that's not, to me, that's not about Haiti. That's about something else. Yeah. And I don't think but yet you have people that you've met throughout the years that come down consistently and want to build relationships with your ministry and with you guys and people around. Those are the relationships that you say you value. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be I love your idea, what you said. And Troy and I have done this when we've been asked to lead groups to see a bunch of work. It doesn't have to be that you go and you're faithful to only Heartline Ministries. You could find 4 or 5 ministries that you get to know really well. Their people, their Haitian staff, their expat staff, and just pray for them and know what they're, become a person that they trust, so you could know the stuff that people don't blog about or put on Facebook, the hard stuff that happens behind the scenes. And it doesn't have to be one ministry at all. So there's, if you are passionate about orphan care, then find a great orphanage that's raising kids, or, if you're passionate about orphan prevention, Heartline Maternity Center. And if you're a person who works in medicine and you want to become a part of helping in Haiti, find a great clinic and hook up with them. Real Hope for Haiti does medical care, and there's no shortage of people doing things. There's everything you can think of under the sun. Haiti's so close to the United States. It's so crazy that there's more short-term missions to Haiti than any country in the world. 200,000 people a year visit Haiti from North America. Wow. And to think I went in 2006, and before then, I'm a very uneducated American. I was I don't even know where Haiti is. Where's Haiti? Yeah. Yeah.
And whenever Aaron and I would travel, we would always be able to pick out the teams. Like, we're just traveling by ourselves to go visit our kids, or I'm just alone going to visit my kids, and you can just see the team swarming in their orange shirts or something, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a huge team destination. And I think sometimes people say that about me, like, oh, she's anti-short-term missions, and think I'm kind of witchy, but it isn't that I'm anti-short-term missions. I'm just anti-dumb short-term missions.
Yeah. I like that. Just anti-stupid things.
Yeah.
Tara, did y'all do Halloween?
Well, I was here.
I know.
No, one of my oldest graduated from Baylor, and it was homecoming. So we carved a pumpkin and we shoved my grandson inside of an empty pumpkin.
That was a real pumpkin. I saw the picture.
Yeah, it was real. It felt very abusive and wrong, but
it probably felt like the womb.
It seemed like we needed to do it. And so we didn't even really clean the seeds out. We just gave him a bath afterward.
So did he cry in the picture? Because that would make it even better. Or was he just sleeping?
He wasn't happy. Oh, no. He's clearly not happy to be being put inside of there.
That is so funny. But you had to do it. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we went to the Baylor homecoming bonfire thing. And I feel old when I go to those things, but I love, the marching band and the hoopla and all that stuff. I love it.
It's fun.
The tradition of it all is fun. So, I went there with Paige and Michael and the baby, and that was it for Halloween. In Haiti, the kids don't really do anything. They went to a friend's house and had a movie marathon.
No dressing up.
No, it's Day of the Dead, and there's a lot of stuff that happens in Haiti that I don't understand at all because.
Does Haiti celebrate something on Halloween? I mean, obviously not Halloween, but is there a holiday?
Yeah, I mean, it's called Day of the Dead, and there's people who are involved in voodoo there's ceremonies and parades, and there's things that happen.
Oh, sounds lovely.
Well, I don't understand any of it, but I know that a lot of it is kind of scary.
Yeah.
To me personally, I mean, there's definitely people who would be like, could explain it and tell me why it's not scary, but it makes me nervous. I don't like it.
I was looking back on your Facebook today for some reason. Well, because we were going to talk. So I was like, I just want to look at our pictures. I saw a picture. You must have just recently posted this, though, of you and Troy and Britt and Paige dressed up as Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. That was when we were our original. I mean, when Troy and I got married, I had the two girls. And so we would call that our original family. Like we were that for 7 years.
Oh.
Yeah. The four of us.
Y'all look so cute. You could actually do like every character of the Wizard of Oz now.
I know. We should go back, especially because I look a ton like the Wicked Witch of the West. I really do.
Really? I don't think so.
I have the right nose and the right chin.
Well, next time Scott Wade comes down to Haiti, you need to have him bring Tiffany, and she can do all the makeup, and y'all can have your own little rendition of the Wizard of Oz pictures, because you saw Scotty and Tiffany's from this year.
I did. They're amazing. It's not even fair. How do people compete with that?
I don't even their family pictures. I, don't even have family pictures every year, and they have these elaborate. I'll put it on the website because y'all have to look at it. But our friends Scott and Tiffany Wade, they dress up like Wizard of Oz, and in the picture, she's like flying on a broomstick. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, they have access to things that the rest of us, I don't think. They're not normal. They're superheroes.
These professional photographer and makeup and hair artists, it's not fair. Oh, so fun. Well, Tara, thanks so much for chatting with me.
Thank you for inviting me to chat with you.
I got to chat with you 2 days in a row now.
I know. And you know what? If you guys want to put a trip to Haiti on the calendar, we would love that. You know that Aaron is one of Troy's very favorite people.
Well, Aaron and Troy bonded. We would love to come back for sure. Aaron and Troy bonded on that first trip because Aaron actually they were hiking up a mountain. Am I right? I mean, would you use the word mountain? Like that
yeah,
might be
a mountain.
Okay. I stayed back with my kids, and the whole team was hiking up a mountain to a church service. Maybe I have no idea.
Yep.
And on the way down, Aaron comes up to Troy, and they had literally just met a couple days earlier, and he's like, "Dude, I think I just crapped my pants." And so on the top of a mountain, Aaron pooped in his pants, and that has forever bonded them.
Yeah, and Troy helped him ditch his underwear. Troy provided cover while he went and got rid of his poopy underwear.
I think that
He's gonna love that we included this.
he's gonna love this. Yes. If this makes the podcast, it's only because I asked him and he said it was okay. So they bonded over poopy underwear, which is so funny.
Nothing bonds like bodily fluids.
Nothing. That's a true statement on the top of a mountain in Haiti. Oh my gosh. No, we'd love to come back to Haiti. Last time we brought Caden, we'd love to keep bringing one of our kids. Caden still talks about Noah and Isaac all the time. In fact, we were going somewhere the other day and I heard them in the back talking about someone named Noah. And I was like, who is this? And they're like, Noah in Haiti. And I was like, oh, okay. It's so awesome. Much fun with your boys. Yeah,
it was really fun.
It was a good time. And then I think we would bring Deacon next. Amos doesn't seem really ready, and that's fine. That's totally. It might take him a while. He has a lot of memories from Haiti.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a lot more complicated.
A lot more complicated, and I think he needs to be a little older. In fact, I remember when we first got home with him, and you guys were here in the States because of the earthquake. Even every time we would come to Waco to see y'all, it would kind of freak him out because it was just so weird for him. Yeah,
it's kind of like when you didn't want to go back to Haiti because there's too many memories tied up in it. For him, it had to have been weird to be with us and be like, those were the people who I was with after the earthquake. Those people, yeah. I mean, it's so complicated. So maybe just plan that when Amos finally has an interest in coming, you grab your favorite counselor friend and they come with you.
Yes, that's the only way we're going to make it on the airplane for both of us, Amos and I.
Yeah.
Oh, so fun. Okay, Tara, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations on baby Graham. He is so beautiful.
Thank you so much.
And Paige is like, I told you last night, she's just not fair. She just already looks normal and she's just so beautiful and she's just a champ.
19. That's what happens.
That's what happens when you're 19.
Yep.
That's why people used to have babies so young.
Yeah.
And they just go on.
We're young too. I mean, it's fertile when you're young. The whole thing is, yeah. And in this day and age, people kind of wait till they're 35 or 40 to have kids. Mm-hmm. And that's why we don't see what we're seeing with Paige.
Exactly. You can't just bounce back once you get 36, 35. But I mean, you still can make perfectly beautiful babies when you're that old. It's just our bodies. God did something,
Yep.
Okay. Tara, have a good day.
Thank you.
Tell Paige I said hi. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Guys, I told you would love Tara. Isn't she fabulous? Thanks so much for listening, and thanks for joining me today on the Happy Hour. If you notice, I've got a little bit of different music here at the end. That's because I have for you the new Austin Stone album called The Reveille Volume 2. And it's an instrumental album that is perfect for meditating or reading or just playing around the house to kind of calm things down. It's beautiful music that our friend Colin is the mastermind behind, and it is the new record put out by the Austin Stone. And so I actually have 5 copies to give away. I'm so excited about this. All you need to do is leave a comment on this podcast blog. Go to jamieivey.com. I have 5 copies of these. These would make great stocking stuffers, great gifts for teachers. I'll put a link on the blog where you can go purchase some as well if you don't win. I want to say thanks to Sarah Williams. She left a comment on my blog and it said, Jamie, you're the BFF that gets me through cleaning my kitchen each night. I love listening to your podcast because it makes the chore way more enjoyable. Your guests are always super fun. I love how you delve into real spiritual issues, but also talk about light and fluffy topics. It's a perfect blend of encouragement and fun, and I'm always challenged in a good way. Thanks for all you do. Sarah, thanks for listening. That really means a lot. Guys, thanks for subscribing to the podcast. Thanks for leaving your comments on iTunes. I hope that you have a great Thanksgiving if you're listening to this before Thanksgiving, and I hope that you enjoy it and that you get to spend time with people that you love, friends and family, and you get to reflect on 2014 and all that we have to be thankful for. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you next week with my guest, Jessica Thompson. You're going to love her. Have a great weekend.